evening out of Pensacola, Florida. I am here with my friend Brandon Gonzalez, both out of the state of Colorado. He's from Colorado Springs. I am from Aurora. Brandon, super thankful that you chose to be on the episode today. We got some really cool things that we're talking about. First few notes. Next week, I have a podcast with a German musician, left his home in New Zealand, currently lives in Germany. Make sure that you're tuning into that podcast. That'll be recorded on Wednesday. I'm going to try to get that one out before Sunday, try to record another one for the Sunday, if that makes sense.
Yes.
But super excited about some of the things that are coming up. As some of you might know, should be out of here, Pensacola,
Wednesday.
Fingers crossed on the biggest note.
Fingers crossed. We are out of here on Wednesday.
Set up. And then our next stop's going to be Jacksonville, Florida. I have a podcast set up with Ashley Hanna, who is the owner of Titanium Yoga down there in Jacksonville. I also have hopefully one set up with another gymnast named Saley, and hopefully one with the tattoo artist. We'll see how far that goes. I'm not going to make any promises for that. But before we get into anything else, before we get started with today's episode, first I just got to say, if you've taken the time to log into where we're at right now, if you're listening to the podcast as we speak, super thankful for all the feedback, all the love that you all have shown me. I love what I do. I love listening to people's stories. I love listening to people's mindset, people's grind. What does it take to get where we want to go in life? Creating a driving force that's going to take this generation to special places.
In hotel parking lots, what was I going to do? I ain't had nowhere to stay, so I lived in the car. I had $35. And I said, come on, God, man, I've been trying to make this dream come true. You done left me out here like this. And I was crying so hard that he just said, I didn't hear a voice or nothing, but he spoke to me in Harvey. He said, if you get up, I'm gonna take you places you ain't never been. Now I was finna quit. So I said, skip it. I'm gonna quit anyway. So I got in my car, I went to a payphone, and I was gonna call my dad. You remember back in the day where you could punch in a code and call your answering machine and get your messages? So I called, and I punched in the code, and it said, doop. He said, hey, Steve, this is Chuck Sutton with Showtime at the Apollo. We saw a tape of you. You're very funny. If you could get here Sunday night, we'd love to put you on television. Call me back. Let me know if you can make it. So I hung the phone up. I'm crushed because my whole dream of being on TV, and I couldn't get to New York. I got $35. How I'm gonna get to New York? I can't make it. So I'm standing there at the phone booth and tears just coming down my face. I said, God, so that must be a sign for me to go home. Cause this it, I ain't even got the money to go to the Apollo. My whole thing, I wanted to be on TV, I couldn't even make the dream come true. This is the most messed up moment. And so I said, man, let me call this dude back and see if he said this Sunday. Cause maybe he said next Sunday and I can hustle up a little bit of money or something. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but let me just call him back. So I called him back. Steve, this is Chuck Sutton, Showtime at the Apollo. We saw a tape of yours. You're very, very funny. Look, we have an opening Sunday night at Showtime at the Apollo. If you can make it, we'd love to put you on TV. I said, it's this Sunday. Before I hit the button, I heard, doop, you have another message. Now, it wasn't there before. So I punched my code in. I listened to the second message. It said, Steve Harvey, this is Tom Sobel from the Comedy Caravan. This was a Thursday. He said, I have a gig in Jacksonville, Florida on Friday night that pays $150. If you can get there Friday night, you'll make $150. So I called him back and I said, hey, Tom, did you get a gig away? He said, no, it's still available. He said, can you get there? I said, I'm in Pensacola, Florida. I'm 3.5 hours away. So I drive to Jacksonville, Florida, and that night I made the 150. The club owner said, man, you funnier than the guy we hired. If you stay tomorrow night, I'm gonna give you another $150. So now I got $300 now. So I get on the phone, I call Chuck Sutton. I say, hey man, is the gig still available at Showtime at the Apollo? He said, yeah, we got one opening left. I said, I'll be there. So I called Eastern Airlines, who used to be open back then. They had a special for $99 going from Jacksonville, Florida to New York round trip. So I parked my car at the airport. I got it. Got on plane, flew. Everything I had was in 2 bags. Got to the Apollo. I said, hey man, I'm here. I got there at 11 o'clock in the morning. He said, you can't stay here because you don't come on to the late show tonight. I said, man, I ain't got nowhere to go. I said, if you just let me stay in this building, man, I ain't gonna move around nothing. I ain't got nowhere to go. I'm in Harlem, I can't go back out here. I got these 2 bags. I got victim wrote all over me, man, so. He said, all right, if you go upstairs, don't come down. So he put me in the dressing room on the 6th floor. So that's where all the comedians was. So I stayed up there. I got hungry around 3 o'clock, and I couldn't take it no more. So I went back downstairs, a dude named Alton Liston. I said, hey man, he said, man, I thought I told you, don't come down them damn steps. I said, hey man, I'm just hungry, man. I said, let me go to that KFC I saw on the corner, just let me get some chicken. I'll come right back. He said, man, if you ain't back in 20 minutes, you ain't getting in this building. So I went, bought me some chicken, came back. So the comedians started coming in the building. They started coming up on the 6th floor. So I meet this guy named D.L. Hughley. I introduced myself, he introduced himself. I'm sitting there, another guy come in named Dwayne Johnson. Then this other dude walked in named Jamie Foxx. And I introduced myself. We don't know each other, ain't none of us famous. It's 1991, man. They gave everybody the lineup. I was on the last show of the night. I don't go on to 11 at night. I done had this 4 pieces of chicken. I'm starving, man. That chicken done wore off. I'm nervous, man. I'm about to throw up. D.L. Hughley went downstairs. D.L. Hughley got booed off. Dwayne Johnson got booed off. Jamie Foxx went down there and got booed. They booed Jamie, then Jamie started singing. And then they started clapping. And Jamie had their ass, then he went back to them jokes, and they got his ass. So I'm walking down the steps and I see Jamie sitting on the steps. I said, hey man, hang in there. He said, man, that ain't never happened to me before, man. This is crazy. This Jamie Foxx, man, one of the most talented people in all of comedy. And now, you don't even know how nervous I am, man. I can't even, my breathing is shot because these dudes been booed. So I walk out, I had wrote this joke. Mike Tyson had got in a fight in Harlem with this heavyweight named Mitch Green. Mike Tyson had hit the dude in the eye in the store. Now he was on the news, his eye was swollen. So the joke I wrote was, they was interviewing Mitch Green and he was telling everybody what happened, but his eye took over the interview. And I wrote this joke that his eye started talking and was just, I tell you what happened. The heavyweight champ's fist is coming towards my face. I just said, Lord, Lord, Lord. And I wrote this whole joke about this dude's eyeball talking. And when the punch came, and all this here, the Apollo, man, they went crazy. They lost their mind. I got a standing ovation, man. I walked off stage, man, just started crying. I couldn't believe it. And they paid me. I made $750 for being on TV for one night. I'd never made $750 telling jokes in one night. And so that was my first television appearance. A couple weeks later, Sinbad was the host of the show. He got this job on Different World. And so he quit. And so Mark Curry became the host. And then Mark Curry got hanging with Mr. Cooper, and he quit. And they came to me and said, would you come back to New York and host amateur night for us to just try you out? Oh, ain't no problem. And so I went to New York, I hosted amateur night. and I was killing. But every time we went to commercial break, I was supposed to let the warm-up act take over like Ruben does. But I knew not to let the warm-up act do that because he would change the attitude of the crowd because the Apollo was a wild place. So I stayed out there. I did the warm-up and the hosting. And I created a bond with that audience. And that's how I got on TV. It was my very first TV show. I hosted Showtime at the Apollo. I ended up being the longest running host in the history of Showtime at the Apollo. I did that show for 8 years. Nobody ever did it for 8 years. And that was my turn back moment. See, in your life, everybody has a turn back moment. You have a moment where you could go forward or you can give up. But the thing you have to keep in mind before you give up is that if you give up, the guarantee is it will never happen. That's the guarantee of quitting, that it will never happen no way under the sun. The only way the possibility remains that it can happen is if you never give up no matter what. Because God is always coming. He's never too late. At your worst moment, look, man, when they told me I had to be in New York, I saw no way I could get there. But that God, though, he make the phone ring. I end up in Florida, I make $300. Then I go to New York, I make $750. I almost got $1,000 out of nowhere. That's what happened to me. That was my...
I don't know about you, but that sent chills up and down my body. Here's the biggest thing I want people to get out of that is a miracle come true. If you push yourself to the utmost and you continue to put the work in every day, craziest fucking things are going to happen to you. Let's jump the moon a little bit. Like I said, I have my friend Brandon Gonzalez here with me today.
Okay. My name is Brandon Gonzalez. I'm from a little town called Fountain, Colorado. It's at the very south end of Colorado Springs. It could take me half an hour to get to the north end of Colorado Springs and down to Pueblo. So I'm kind of right in the middle of the state of Colorado almost. I'm 25 years old. My biggest goal is to hopefully one day make the Olympic team, which we will get to later on in this podcast, through wrestling. And yeah, I graduated high school 8 years ago now. Doesn't feel like that long, but it's a long ass time ago.
So me and Brandon, we hopped on a plane together. We left Denver on January 15th at about 11 o'clock in the afternoon. We hopped on a plane. We were in the same division in boot camp, 8 weeks of civilian to sailor. And now we are here changing our lives, left everything we had to change our lives.
And lo and behold, we are actually going to Jacksonville together as well. So
next stop. I'm super excited. Harvey actually just talked about going to Jacksonville from Pensacola, so I think that's just unbelievably ironic that is happening. What do you think?
Just him going from Pensacola to Jacksonville to change his life, and we are pretty much doing the same thing.
And guess what? I'm up next, baby. Oh, shout out to the 303 on a real note. So
719 for me.
Oh, is it really? It's not the 720?
No, 719.
719, baby. Hey, so we've done a lot. I've talked a lot about myself on this podcast. So we're going to exclude me completely from this podcast. We are all going to talk about you. Okay, so like Gonzalez was just talking about, he's talking about making the Olympic team. Right. So, Gonzalez, give us, so you talked about wrestling in high school. Am I wrong?
Yes. Okay,
so tell us a little bit about that, why you fell in love with the sport.
So I actually started wrestling my 7th grade year, and I had friends come up to me in junior high. They're like, hey, come try out with the wrestling team with us. It'll be fun. Honestly, I thought it was going to be some WWE stuff, and I was into that growing up. My uncle would take us to some of this stuff in Colorado Springs, and we would watch it on TV with my uncle. And come to find out, it's nothing like WWE. And that first weekend, I was actually wanting to not wrestle anymore. And I ended up calling my cousin one day, and I was like, hey, I just don't think I can do it no more, because he wrestled his whole life. And I was like, I don't think it's for me anymore. I'm not having real much fun. So he comes to stay the night with me, and he just showed me all these videos of cool things that I could do with the sport of wrestling. And I was just like, all right, I'll give it another week. So another week goes by, and now that's all I do. I wrestled all 7th grade. I wasn't too good at it my 7th grade year. I think I ended up winning like maybe 5 matches my 7th grade year out of like 30 or something that I had. And then my 8th grade year came around. I only lost 2 matches. Ended up winning the big citywide tournament that we had in junior high. And then I got to high school. Freshman year, I was the only freshman on varsity that year. Was one place away from going to the state tournament, which was pretty cool. And it's not something a lot of freshmen can say unless they grew up wrestling their whole life.
Gonzalez, I can definitely see you doing the fireman carry on someone 5'8". They're on the wrestling mat, you know what I'm saying? Like this take down. 1, 2, 3. Someone's shoulder tapping you. I'm done.
Actually, it's funny you say that because that was my favorite move in high school was the fireman's carry.
Really?
That was all I did in high school, and then people caught on. I didn't really wrestle much my sophomore year because of injuries. I ended up getting a concussion like twice throughout the year, so they were just like, no, you're done. So I came back my junior year, qualified for the state tournament, was 1 match away from placing at the state tournament. And then my senior year rolled around, and I set some goals for myself before the season even started. And I wanted to have a winning record. I wanted to win regionals, place first at regionals, and I wanted to be on the podium at the state tournament. And so first goal completed, went into the regional tournament with the winning record. I think I only had like 7 losses on the year. I was like 35-7 or something like that. And I was seeded number 1 at regionals. And I ended up having to wrestle a kid that I had already seen twice that year. And almost lost in the championship match, which I was pissed off about, but because I messed up myself. And I ended up pulling it out with like the last 5 seconds of the match. I ended up getting around him to get 2 points and to win by 1 point. And then I went into the state tournament and got to the semifinals. Lost to the eventual state champion that year. His name's Joel Solomon.
Screw Joel Solomon. Wait, what was his name?
Joel Solomon.
Screw Joel Solomon.
He's a good guy.
All right,
Me and him are friends now.
Oh, uh-huh.
But I ended up going into the consolation side of the bracket. Won my next 2 matches, both by pin, and then I ended up losing for 3rd and 4th, which was a heartbreaker because you never want to lose your last match in your high school career. But walking off the floor at the Pepsi Center, it was like hitting me at that moment. I went back into the tunnel where on the side where all the NBA players dress out for their games, and I just like let it all go. I knew that now I'm never going to wrestle ever again here at the Pepsi Center. And it was a moment that I'll never forget, walking off the mat. It was mat number 2. It was a blue mat, and it was right next to the tunnel. So I kind of got off the mat and just hid myself into a corner area in the Pepsi Center, and I cried. I just let it all out. It's just one of those things where you're never going to get that moment back.
For sure. How long were you there? So if you guys didn't know, the Pepsi Center is basically like...
It's the arena where the Colorado Avalanche play, the Denver Nuggets, and the Mammoth, which is the lacrosse team. So it's the home for the hockey, basketball, and lacrosse team.
So it's basically like the indoor arena down there in downtown Denver.
Yeah.
But so like the tournament there that day, how long was the tournament? How many matches did you wrestle that day?
That day I ended up wrestling twice. I ended up wrestling 2 times that day. 3 times. Twice. It was twice. Because I ended up, after I lost the semifinal match, Friday night, I wrestled again Saturday morning. And then like Saturday, like around noon, I ended up wrestling again because they do the finals for all 4 classifications at one time that starts at like 6 p.m. So they cleared the whole arena out. Everybody leaves the arena, goes to get something to eat, and then we all come back in for just the finals.
So you found your love of wrestling through high school. and now you're talking this big thing about making the Olympic team.
It's the goal.
Gonzalez, tell me how you're going to get there.
So I signed a 5-year contract with the Navy. So I'm not supposed to get out of the Navy until March of 2025. And I have been in contact with some people that know about getting on the all-Navy wrestling team. And I'll give a shout out to my recruiters for that because they helped me out along the way with that. So I'm going to be a good sailor, quote unquote, for like
Navy.
2.5 years, and then
Go Navy.
and then I'll end up filling out like this application to hopefully get approved by the chief and through the whole chain of command to actually go out and try out for the team. And their tryouts are January and February, and then they wrestle March through December, and then they host new tryouts in January and February again. So it's not going to be the same person on the team for like 3 years in a row, possibly.
So what's your daily routine to get there?
Well, before I joined the Navy, I would wake up and I would end up taking my mom's dog on a walk. And then I'd bring her back, and then I end up going to go on a run. And once I got done with my run, I would just hang out with the dog for a bit, and then I would actually end up going to the high school wrestling practice because I was a coach for the high school team. And so I'd wrestle with those kids. And then on some days I would stay behind and wrestle with some of our little kids. I was also the start of our little kids program that we had in Widefield, Colorado. And
Hold on, Gonzalez. Hold on. Go ahead. I know. Go ahead. What's the camera at? Hernandez, how many minutes? Continue.
And so we started off that club with 7 kids, and then within 3 years we jumped up to 70. So I've been around wrestling ever since my high school career ended. I can't get away from the sport.
Okay. So, like, you continually working out every day?
I try to.
Try to.
When I'm
Why
not
are you
lazy.
trying to?
Well, 'cause
I'm
it's
gonna
hard now.
I'm gonna put you in the spotlight.
It's hard now because the gyms are closed. So, like, when we first got here in Pensacola, the gyms were still open for, like, 2 weeks after all the other gyms had closed in all of the United States. And so I had a good routine going every day, except I would skip a few days. I would skip a day during the week just to give my body a rest. And I was pretty much running every day. I would run to the lighthouse that we have on base, which is
It's about 6 miles
away.
there back. Let me hear. Jesus Christ.
I think it's 3
Let me say that again. 6 miles there and back. 3 miles there, 3 miles back.
Yeah. So I'd run that every day.
Okay.
So essentially I was running 6 miles almost every day. I would skip a few days doing that. But now I try to get as much in as I can. Just trying to do like some home remedy stuff. I was into yoga a lot.
Swear.
Yeah.
You know, Gonzalez, one thing that I think I should get into is yoga.
It's
They talk about like how good it is for the mind and the body.
It
know what I'm
really
saying?
is.
All right. That's a bit. Continue. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
I mainly started yoga because I was playing goalie for an ice hockey team.
Oh, yep.
But it was just men's adult leagues. So it was just, you go to drink a beer and play some hockey and have some fun. But I mainly did it because I wanted to work on my flexibility, which is not great for some men unless you grew up doing gymnastics. But I saw a lot of improvement with not only just like my flexibility and controlling my temper while playing, because I used to have a bad temper playing hockey. And my brother can vouch for that one. And yeah, it like relaxes your mind. It keeps you on the right mindset to where you want to be and how you want to be. It's not just for like flexibility or just working your mind. It keeps you in shape essentially because you're keeping all your muscles loose with all the different poses that you have to do. There's a bunch of stretches that stretch parts of your body that you didn't even know you had. And so that was one big thing to get used to, because I had no idea what was going on when I first started doing yoga.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you feel kind of like weird?
Oh yeah, most definitely. It was.
Were there other guys in there, or was it a lot of women?
I just did it at home.
Oh,
So
like pull it up on YouTube, watch on your laptop type thing.
Yeah.
Oh yep.
Yeah, it was. I felt more comfortable doing it at home because I didn't want to be that one guy in a yoga class full of girls and what a fucking weirdo.
Yes. Actually, I was just talking about that Ashley Hannon girl.
Yeah.
And actually, what's really cool is she talks about like how her business is, like, her message or her drive or her motive for her business is to have like the idea of having everyone, all sorts of shapes and sizes, coming in, no matter how old or young you are, no matter how like experienced or unexperienced you are with yoga. Yeah. I'm sorry, I just thought that was really cool. Anyways, please continue.
Yoga it's one of those things where you have to make sure that your mind is right when you're doing it, because if you got a bunch of things distracting you, like you see all these videos on Facebook of like a dog messing with their owner trying to do some yoga, and I mean, yeah, it's cute and all, but then it's like time to get back to work and doing these poses and fixing my body.
Gonzalez, I'm actually going to rewind you. I'm going to take you back to we're talking about like you working every day, right? So you're talking about you try to work out every day. Yes. Why aren't you working it out like you used to? I understand that the gyms aren't open, but we have like, you have the access to like run and everything. You've been doing that at least 5 times a week?
I try to get at least 3 to 4 days in where I'm running. Sometimes it's hard because you have duty and watch.
Touche.
Stuff like that. Like Monday, I probably won't do anything.
Here's my challenge for you.
Okay.
Here's my challenge for you. Make time 6 days out of the week to make your body better. Because if you want to be the best in the fucking world, dude, Gonzalez, dude, when I say this, that I want to see you be the best in the world, standing on a podium, getting the gold Olympic medal, you do not understand how bad I want that for you.
Thank you, Smidt.
But on a real note, I challenge you to make time I challenge you to make time 6 days out of the week to make your body better, working out, jogging, push-ups, sit-ups. Because if you want to be the best in the fucking world, like I want you to, you gotta practice like you're the best in the world. You know what I'm saying?
I can make that happen.
God, guys, I don't think you understand. Like, I have an unbelievable amount of love for people like Gonzalez, and I love like what we talked about, like fulfillment and happiness all the fucking time. Like, fulfillment in my life is to help somebody fucking succeed in crazy epic ways like that, finding themselves down and building them back up to get them back on track. Coolest fucking shit, man.
That's like one thing where I love the sport of wrestling, and let alone coaching. I started coaching right after I graduated. That following year, I did a volunteer year at my high school, and then I got hired on at our rival school. So I've been coaching since, at one school, I've been coaching there since 2014, 2015 school year. And I started, my main goal, my first year was, I'm getting this kid to the state finals. We're going to get him to the state finals. We're going to get him on that 1 or 2 podium spot. And all year, the whole year, was just me and him. And seeing him end up 1 and 2, he ended up finishing second in the state. We ended up losing to the same guy that we saw at regionals. But we had to beat a kid that he has never beaten before in the semifinals of the state tournament. Friday night, all classifications are there. 2A, 3A, 4A, 5A. They're all watching all 8 semifinal matches going on. And he's wrestling this kid probably like 5 inches taller than him, just a lengthy kid. And we tell him, if you get out on bottom, you are winning this match. They go the whole first period, no score. Nobody could get in on a shot. Nobody could get a takedown. So I was like, we're going down. He looks at me, he's like, are you sure? And I was like, yes, you're going down. The whole week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, all we did with this kid was getting out from bottom and riding the piss out of somebody. And if you know wrestling, you know what riding is. It's not a nasty term. It's just staying on top of somebody for as long as you can. And we got out in like 10 seconds. Nobody got another takedown. So we're up now 3-0 in the third, first 1-0 in the third period. And the other guy chooses down. So I looked at him and I was like, your mind is right? He's like, yes, coach. And I was like, all right, now ride the piss out of him. Because if not, you have to take him down. And period goes on, like 30 seconds left. We're still on top. The other kid takes an injury timeout because of his knee. And at that moment, I knew we had him beat. Because now the other kid needs a breather. Because if you're on bottom, and a lot of guys will vouch for this if you've wrestled before, if you're on bottom, getting rode for like a minute straight wears you the fuck out. I hated being on bottom because of that shit. You want to get out on bottom because you do not want to be tired for that next period.
Right.
And at that moment, I was like, we have this match in the bag. Period ends. We win 1-0. We're in the finals. And that was like probably one of the greatest moments ever in my coaching career. Was watching him, feeling him coming up and like hug all of us coaches because we got him where we wanted him. That was the greatest feeling in the world. Even going past that, forward more years, watching kids go from us being all that they have, coming to school is the best thing that's for them, and then coming to wrestling practice, because if they're not there, they're out doing other things. But they choose to be with us and around us because of how loving we are as coaches. And then watching them succeed in college, and them coming back during college breaks just to come visit us. Like, yeah, they want to come see their family too, but they make time to come see us during practice. And watching them go off and do their own thing, and watching them succeed doing their own thing,
Changes you as a human being.
yes, it makes you feel good inside.
That's the biggest, like, I will never understand this as just as a human in general, like the idea of what great has to come out of life, the unproportionate amount of negativity we hear and see in the world today bothers the hell out of me.
Yes.
Like, genuinely.
I don't even want to talk about it, honestly.
Yeah.
It's...
And I'm honestly, I'm not just talking about the things that are going on in the world right now.
Right.
I'm talking about the world in general. Like, I wish people understood that you have a 1 in 4 trillion chance of coming out of the womb alive. Like, I wish people understood that. I wish people knew that. I wish people thought it was cool to work hard and be humble. I wish people thought it was cool to pick each other up. I wish people thought it was cool to see success and strive for the best in their abilities. I wish people thought it was cool to save up their money and build what's right. I wish people thought it was cool to respect their parents. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Money, going back to money, it's... And what we're talking about now, it's a mindset. Wanting to save money. It really is a mindset. If some people will just be like, oh, dang, I got $100. Let's all go to the store. Or let's go buy this new game. When you start saving money and you realize, dang, I could go get this. I can go get that. But I'll just hold off on it until like next paycheck and see how much I have left. Or I'll wait a little bit, let the price go down. Because then you can actually wait till like Black Friday for something or a Cyber Monday and get it on sale. And now you're saving even more money. And like, for instance, for me personally, when I was buying all my goalie equipment, I bought everything that was on sale. I did not buy anything brand new. I didn't buy the top model for anything except for the goalie skates. Goalie skates, I did drop a dime on. And I am proud of that, though, because I saved that money.
Right, you work for
to
that.
Pay for that, but to pay for the skates. And, like, for instance, my leg pads, when I bought my leg pads, they were Warrior Ritual G2s. And the G3s had just came out, so now they're trying to get rid of all the G2s. I paid $300 for the G2s, originally $700. My goalie pants I paid like $100 for, and they were originally $250. And just working hard to save up the money, and then to turn around and go, yeah, I could use a new stick, because you have it, and you have that money in savings still building up.
Learning about money, if you can ever take the time just to take like a 30-minute class about learning about money, it's this thing called Google. Really? Or the master class? You heard about the master class?
No.
It's actually, I'm really interested. I'm thinking about buying a subscription to that. But like, master class about like, obviously really high intellectuals in their state of business, talking about just the coolest things, from engineers to filmmakers to gentleman that's an expert on dialogue. Actually, it was really interesting. If you guys could see in the background,
It's
storm cornhole. What's the name of it called? Storm what?
Core something.
Core something. It's happening right now. It actually looks like it's a full-on tropical storm that's outside. We are in Charlie's set. We are ready to evacuate as soon as possible. It's getting pretty serious. When are you going to be able to put in your package for signing up for the wrestling team?
So really, I could do it now if I wanted to, when I get to Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to make a good impression first, and because then all I have to do is just fill out the application online, print it out, and then turn it into my chain of command, and then it'll work its way up.
Mm-hmm.
And then they all have to they can all either approve it or disapprove it. And then as long as main guy right at the very, very top, as long as he says yes, I'm allowed to go ahead and try out for the sport.
We're on the way. We're on the way if he says yes.
Yes, we are.
So will I. So what is that like? Do you know any more of what that consists of? Like, do you fly somewhere to try out, or?
That I haven't gone that far into. I know that the only style of sports outside of high school and college is freestyle and Greco. And Greco is just all upper body. Freestyle is just all takedowns.
Mm-hmm.
And Greco, you can't touch the legs at all, or else you get a penalty point. So it's just all upper body throws. But I'm not about throws. I prefer to take people down. So I'm gonna shoot for the freestyle spot.
That's a bit. I'm gonna dig a little bit deeper into your lifestyle and who you are as a person.
Okay.
I don't know if you had a certain story that you wanted to share that has absolutely changed you as a person. But if I was to ask you right now, what is an event that completely changed you as a person? Does something pop to your head immediately?
My engagement.
Would you like to share that story with us?
So I started dating this girl my senior year of high school, and we continued to date all throughout her high school, and she ended up moving right as soon as I graduated high school. And so 6 months into our relationship, we ended up starting long distance. She ended up moving all the way to Memphis, Tennessee, so like 1,700 miles away, or 1,100 miles away. And we continued to do the long distance for 5 years, 5 more years. So in total, we dated for 5.5 years. At our 4.5 year mark, I ended up popping the question. And I really thought that she was the one because of everything that we went through together, and did it in front of her favorite animal at the Memphis Zoo, in front of all the giraffes. Her mom was there, her brothers were there, my mom was there. It was a big thing I had planned out for like a year, planning this whole thing out. I ended up, before I left to fly out to Memphis, I ended up cutting a hockey puck in half and carving out some of the hockey puck, and I put the ring inside the hockey puck. So I had like a ring hockey puck box.
Gentlemen, take notes.
But things changed. It came to October of 2017, and she started to feel unhappy. And she didn't tell me this. So I went out there November for a documentary she was in. And then I ended up flying back out there in December for Christmas. So we swapped Christmases.
Uh-huh.
And come January, I come back out to Colorado. Started working again after I got it done with vacation. And yeah, shit hit the fan middle of January, the end of January, and into the beginning of February. She brought it up, said that she wasn't happy anymore, and that if things change, we can work on things again. So I believed it. I was like, okay, if this is what you want, then this is fine. I was heartbroken. I'll be honest, I wanted to kill myself. I was that low in life with everything, because she was the one and only for me that I thought. And hearing we need to break up, it tore me up. I didn't want to do anything. I stopped playing hockey for a little bit. I didn't want to go to practice for wrestling. And then it finally hit me like 2 weeks after we broke up. Her friend got involved and started talking a bunch of trash and stuff that shouldn't have been said on social media. I deleted her friend, and everything that she was associated with on all social media platforms. And my brother ended up arguing with her friend about all the shit that was being said. And then I realized at that point, like, yeah, this is not going to work out anymore. And then come to find out, like a week after that, she was already dating some other guy. So I don't know. She tells me that they weren't a thing while we were dating. But, I mean, it's her word against everybody else's.
Do you still, like, I don't know, it's kind of hard for me to ask, because I don't mean this in, like, a very bad or personal way, but do you still feel insecure about things that happen to this day?
Yeah,
And so this was, you said October, or January 17?
So this was January of 18 when we broke up.
Okay. So this was all going down January, February.
Yeah, of 2018.
So do you still think about it?
I think about what I should have done better between October through January.
Let me ask you.
Okay.
If you really would have, what do you mean by make things better?
Like, I feel like looking back on it now, I didn't ask her how she was doing that day as much as I did, or how her week was, or doing the little things,
right?
Doing those little things.
Does that still bother you?
Yes. Because, yeah, had I done that, maybe to this day we'd still be together. Who knows? I don't know. I mean, honestly, at this point, with knowing what happened between me and her, I use that to work better for myself for a future Miss Gonzalez.
Future Miss Gonzalez. I love that. On this realist note, here's the biggest thing. I think I actually lecture about this a lot in some of the little segments that I was posting out on my social platforms. Is not dwelling. Like, let me ask you this more preferable question. Does it keep you up at night? Do you think about it to where it keeps you up at night, where it bothers your normal routine during the day, during the week? More than once a week.
It used to, right after everything happened.
Right.
And then as time progressed, I knew that I can't change anything now. And what happened is done for, and I can't do anything about it. But I just use it now to help me out for the future. Do
Do you have genuine, like, questions about yourself? Do you genuinely feel insecure about yourself due to that event nowadays?
Not necessarily.
See, that's one thing I do kind of struggle with. On a real note, I dated this girl a long time ago. And, like, the way things happened to this day, I still have security issues. Genuinely, like, sometimes I genuinely feel deeply insecure about who I am.
So the only thing that I would say now, personally, that I'd be insecure about would be asking those questions. And am I asking you enough how you're doing that day or how your week's been? Because even now to this day, I mean, you know, I'm talking to this girl named Abby. And
Oh, yeah, I know.
and I told her straight up, went through this whole breakup. Went through another breakup before I left for boot camp. And I told her straight up that I'm going to be asking her how her day is almost every day. And I'm going to ask her how her week's been or how her morning's going when I can. Because then we were getting ready to class up and going to class, so we weren't really talking throughout the morning. And so every morning I'll say good morning. I hope you have a good day. If you need anything, you can always let me know, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can.
Sorry, were you finished?
Yeah.
I think another thing that a lot of people need to interpret, take in, look in the mirror, look at themselves, have a realization with, is keeping it real with who they're talking to, who they have a relationship with, whether it's friendship or more.
Oh, 100%.
And with themselves. Keeping it fucking real with yourself.
Yeah, 100%.
100%.
100%.
I think the biggest reason why I say that is because you cannot do a push-up reading about it in a book. If you want to go do fucking spectacular ass things with your life, miracles do happen. If you want to strive and find happiness, find fulfillment, change people's lives, quit reading about it, quit listening to motivational speeches, quit listening to other people talk about it.
And go do it.
It's a daily in and out grind. If you put the work in each and every day, you have some sort of aspect of reaching that goal one day. And I hope you're fucking listening to when I say this. Just like Steve Harvey said, if you give up, you are guaranteed to never reach that goal.
Yeah.
We are so, like, even at 25, I'm 19, I have no idea what life has to offer me yet. And I don't think
I don't think I even do.
Yeah. On a real note. And I think that's the craziest thing, is by the time I'm 60, 65, I do not plan on living with an heart full of regret.
Right.
I think that's the biggest thing that I've learned from people who are older than me, is living with regret, doing the right thing all the time, doing the right things with your money, spending time with the people that are important.
Yes, that's a big one.
Quit fucking drowning in other people's opinions about who you are. If you didn't listen to anybody else's opinion about yourself, what would you see in yourself?
Exactly.
Oh, I like that. If you were to exclude everybody else's opinion about yourself, how would you see of yourself?
Yeah.
That's important. Green, what are we at right now, actually?
13 minutes.
Go ahead and restart it.
Oh, my bad, bro. It wasn't long, though. It wasn't even 2 minutes.
I'm not even worried about it, bro.
Sure.
Actually, before you start that, you want some more?
I'm good.
Ice in a bag, baby. The vibe's real right now.
Wait, that's ice? Like, that's straight ice?
It's just straight ice. What do you think it was?
I thought it was a water bottle. That was sweat.
Swag. Damn. What the fuck, man? It's raining outside. The music we listen to is real.
I think it stopped raining.
I don't even. Damn, we're almost at a fucking hour already. It's like, we're probably only like fucking 40 minutes, maybe.
We got what, 45 minutes right now?
I'm just gonna say, go until we're done.
Just go until it get dry.
What, do you gotta go
Yeah.
pee?
No, you just said.
Oh.
No, I haven't necessarily put it. I can. Actually, that's probably not a bad idea. Where were we at when we stopped?
We were talking. You said a quote like twice. Talking about
We were talking about
if you stop looking at the way people view you, how would you view yourself?
That's right. I'm ready. Yeah, go ahead. Just start it.
What the fuck are you looking at?
The cop right there, bro.
Who's he doing?
Cruising.
Donuts?
Just cruise right down the street, bro. Literally was right there. Are we good? Alright, so that was a cute little intermission thing that we had. We just had to get kind of back in focus. It is absolutely pouring outside. The vibes are real, watching the water streak down the windows and just talking about real shit in life. That's what life's all about.
Yes.
Reflecting on things that happen, continuing to move forward. You can never move forward looking in the rearview mirror. Period.
Period. Facts.
Like, I was kind of asking, like, insecurity
Right.
about afterwards. And I just, like, you were talking about, like, having those real conversations with yourself and your relationship and who your partner's with, and, like, the unbelievable power of having a relationship with someone who respects you. Let me give you a pure example story.
Okay.
You have a watch. Grandfather gave it to you. It's from 1931, 14 karat gold. It's a nice watch, right? It's an antique watch. You go to the pawn shop. They offer you $500 for it. You take it to a watch shop. They offer you $1,000 for it. You take it to a museum. They offer you $100,000 for it. Make sure you find the right people who value you for who you are, not what you aren't, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Find people who value you for your heart and who you are, what you're worth, instead of what you have to offer. Because sometimes you may not have something to offer based on a position in life that you are in. Find people that build you up. You want to fucking succeed in life, surround yourself with people who also want to fucking succeed in life. And that's like, dude, my generation specifically, shout out to Green and Hernandez, who are currently manning my camera right now. Like, on the realest note, our generation gets shit on. We're the grass that the fucking dog crouches and fucking shits on. And I want you to know that we have to show that we are worth something more than the world has ever seen before. The technological changes and the changes in diversity, the changes in economics, and the physical working behavior and atmosphere that we work in today, that we live and experience each and every day, is different than any other generation that has lived in America. Dude, I fucking love with all my heart.
Right.
I really know I love more than anybody else fucking combined in this room. But I've understood and I've come to know who I'm worth and what I'm worth. But like I said earlier, I genuinely sometimes have a struggle dealing with self-security issues. And on a real note, it might be because I'm like, fuck, do women find me attractive too? Like, am I gonna be good enough one day? Do I stand out? Is my content good enough? Am I really making an impact on people? I question that all the time, but I continue to strive for it. Why? Because I do get occasional pop-ups saying, hey man, I love your fucking content. Hey man, I love what you're putting out. Thank you. This really helps my day. That's why I continue to do it.
Right. I
really hope, here's my goal: to develop a driving force of a new generation of kids who are entering the force of American commerce and becoming adults. Brand new generation that has been like no other generation before. And just pushing it to the utmost max, finding love, finding kindness to be cool, finding respect to be cool, hard work is fucking cool, showing off your fucking I guess that's a bad example, but showing off what you don't have is not fucking cool. Actually, you look completely pathetic doing it, and I hope you know that. I don't know if you have people that do that, but
I haven't really seen
your behavior tells an unbelievable amount about you, and social media has very much come into that aspect because it is so prevalent in people's lives. You have a behavior of your personality, and you also have a social media behavior,
right?
If that makes sense.
Yeah, I see that more along the lines of, and I'm not trying to put anybody on blast or anything that I know of, but I see it more into the relationship side.
I can vouch for that shit.
Right?
100%.
And I'm not saying it's just all guys that do it. Girls do it too. I've had my fair share of talking to a girl even before I left for boot camp. I'd be talking to a girl and then I just get ghosted. And then they don't want to come back right before I leave for boot camp or after I get done with boot camp and then want to try to talk.
Oh, you look so good in uniform.
Exactly.
Fuck that shit. Where the fuck were you? Exactly. I'm going to put that in the fucking podcast.
Do it. Because it's the truth. And guys do it too. I'm not saying that guys don't do it.
Guys definitely do it.
Guys do it a lot. They'll get what they want out of a girl, meaning sex, and then leave.
So I think honestly, on a real note, I think it is a very prevalent thing that is new to our generation.
Yes.
Because people thrive in fucking attention, or they can either thrive in attention or thrive in the hate that they can present to other people. Maybe this is a touchy subject, but people in their relationships with others are defined based on their acceptance to other people in social media.
Yeah.
They are not like, I just wish people like, when I literally talk about it all the fucking time. How would you see yourself if everybody else's opinion was non-existent? Right? Like, I don't understand why we thrive and how other people think about us. Because no one understands what we go through when we go to sleep at night. No one understands our story. No one understands our vision. Like, I just don't get it, man. Make fun of me all the fuck you want. Make fun of me and my $50 Air Monarchs that I fucking got at the Navy Exchange while you're trying to flex your $200 fucking Jordans. I don't even know what the fuck they are. That are now dirty, right? From the sand.
Don't they both do the same thing?
Dude, you get a compliment. That's what you get. And I think, and I'm not, look, man, I'm not hating on it. It's just the fact that I get made fun of at least 5 to 6 times a day for my shoes. Let me rephrase that again. I get made fun of 5 to 6 times for my shoes. They say, oh, check out the Air Monarchs. I say, okay, bro. I move on with my day. Because what am I going to do? You know what I'm saying? Fuck you, man. It's the realest thing, man.
There it was.
The attention is just unbelievable. I'm going to edit this part out. But there's a girl that I really want to fucking call out right now. I can't do it.
Do it.
Because she probably won't hear it. Let me give you a prime fucking example. There's this woman I knew not too long ago.
What's her name?
Can't, bro. I can't do it. That'd be too hateful. She knows exactly who she is as soon as she hears it. But our relationship was defined on how much we texted and FaceTimed each other. And our relationship was also defined on if I posted her on my fucking social media platforms. I'm not kidding. I am not kidding. And if you want to text me, go ahead and fucking text me. Because I know you ain't going to listen to this. So, on the realest note, I don't get it, man. If you fucking love someone, fucking love them for who they are. If you find something that's valuable to you, then just stick with it. Quit drowning in other people's attention, because it is the worst thing for the human mind.
That's one thing that people don't get. You don't have to post every little thing that you guys do on social media. You don't have to post.
Hold on. Say that again?
Say that again for the people in the back?
Yes.
You don't have to post every little fucking thing that you guys do on social media.
Keep going.
Not everybody needs to know.
Carry on.
Oh, lunch date at Starbucks or dinner at wherever the fuck you are. Not everybody needs to fucking know that. You guys can live a happy, free life without fucking social media. Because then you're going to get all those people that are going to comment, oh, what a lovely couple, or, oh my gosh, you guys are eating there? You guys didn't even know we ate there? Why would you fucking post that shit? We could have gone there without having any remorse about why we were eating there now.
Or I've had problems where, like, she would post just a simple fucking picture in the mirror, and everybody in the world, every guy is always just like giving her little compliments, and like, bro, it's just too much, man. It's just like, fuck, man. For real? I don't get it, man. Like, when I talk about, like, insecurity, man, like, when you're walking around, oh, he's hot. Oh, he's hot. I've had that problem before, too, where I was literally hanging out with a female. She's like, damn, he's hot. Damn, he's hot. And then a guy was shouted across from the field. He's like, damn, you're cute. And she says, oh, this is my boyfriend. Oh, psych, I'm just kidding. Let me get your number. Right in front of me. I swear to God she said that. We ain't gonna talk about it because I know she ain't gonna listen either.
Damn.
Oh, I love the content you post. I'm gonna edit that out, but fuck you, man.
It'd be like that sometimes.
Indeed. It does
It really
indeed be like
does.
that sometimes. But
And you can't do anything about it either. It just happens.
right. Some woman, if you're listening and you're single, I'm single too. And I will be in Jacksonville than the next month. So if you live out in Jacksonville, I'm always on social media. You know when to follow me. Cole.Smidt on Instagram. Cole James Smidt on Facebook.
I mean, if you guys want to follow me on Instagram, it's
Don't worry, he's single too.
Gonzo.
I'll add you too, dog.
You motherfucker.
Don't worry about it. But anyways,
Gonzo1995.
on a real note, if you don't follow me on social media, you're wrong. Instagram, Cole.Smidt on Instagram. Cole_Smidt on Twitter. Smith_J_Cole on TikTok, Facebook. I'm on LinkedIn. I want you guys to plug in. I want to hear your feedback. I want to hear your input. What do you want to hear? Let's get you to the next stages in life. Let's get you driving. Let's get you moving forward.
Yes.
But I will to any single woman who's listening, you would be extremely lucky to have someone named Cole James Smidt in your life. Just want to throw that out.
To any single girl out there, don't keep going for the douchebag guys.
Preach.
There are good guys out there, so stop saying that shit of, oh, all the good guys are taking. No, they're not. They're sitting off on the sidelines while you're messing around with all the douches on the playing field.
You're getting played.
And that's exactly what they're doing to you.
Getting
They're
played
playing
like
you.
MLB Cubs in 2017 fucking World Series.
Damn, you went there. You went that far.
You ever watch Sports Greatest Moments?
All the time.
Actually, the Olympic Facebook page is unreal. Some of the some of the videos they have on there is really cool.
One of my biggest inspirations, I don't know if anybody knows him, is he goes by the name Rulon Gardner.
All right, keep going.
So he was the heavyweight for the Olympic team. He was going up against this guy, but I don't even remember what this guy's name was, but he's Russian. Unbeatable. He was like undefeated for like the past 10 years or something like that. And Rulon Gardner went out, tossed this guy, and ends up winning the match. And that's just like one of the biggest things that I'll never forget.
Question. Bro, I think I've seen this video. I think I know exactly what you're talking about. I need you to send me that link.
Rulon Gardner is
on the comment
big
section.
guy. He was a big guy.
Maybe not,
But I will send it to you.
yes. Yes, so you guys can watch
I will
it
send
as
you
well.
the YouTube video.
Make sure I will also have that motivated Steve Harvey video on there as well. Because I think that was a really good way to start off today. Miracles fucking.
Most
Let me emphasize this again. Miracles fucking happen. They really, really do. Even.
Go ahead.
Look, man. I talked about this in my last episode. How like disappointed of a person I was, like of myself. How disappointed I was in myself by the time I was 19 years old. Okay, I was just like fucking hated the kid that I looked at in the mirror. I still go back to memories to this day. Look at like just the loser I used to be. Here's the thing. Miracles do not have to be in the most exponential way. You don't have to get rich and famous off of a miracle. A miracle can be what I was going through, the lifestyle I was living,
and getting through that,
setting myself up for success. Jesus Christ, setting myself up for success, joining the military. And man, there are so many people who drop everything, leave everything that they have to better themselves here in the military. It is truly something you will never ever understand until or if you were to ever join.
Going back to miracles, I was gonna say a big example of miracles is the 1980 U.S. Olympic hockey team
Against Russia?
Miracle on Ice.
If you haven't seen that movie, you're wrong.
You definitely need to see that movie, Miracles. It's on Netflix. It's on Disney Plus.
Is that really?
Go watch it. Hell yeah, it's on Disney Plus.
$6.99 a month?
It's a Disney movie.
$6.99 a month?
$6.99 a month for Disney Plus.
Crazy.
Watch all them Disney movies like Oliver and Company. That's a good one. If you haven't seen it. Have you two youngins seen it? You never heard of Oliver and Company? Oliver and Company.
I'm allergic to Disney, so.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, man. Last kind of few messages I want to give out to the people who are watching.
Okay.
Do not find a way to underappreciate who you are and what you have come to be. Companies make fucking money on telling you that you're a failure, loser, look bad. Acne companies, they're the greatest at it. Oh, I used to hate who I used to be. Oh, I used to be really ugly, but now look at my face. Like, dude, like, unfortunately, that's a natural thing that happens. You are still beautiful. You still have much to offer to the world. Find that. Surround yourself with people who value you, who make you feel rich in life, in happiness and fulfillment. Find a way to make somebody's day better. Find positivity in every aspect of your life. It's the day in, the day out grind that you push yourself to the absolute max. It is unbelievable what the human body and the human mind is capable of. Battle through the challenges that life has to offer you. Learn it, experience it. Failing is the first step to success. Yes. If you didn't hear me, failure is the first step to success.
I'll say something too. Surround yourself with good people. Because if you keep surrounding yourself with people that just keep bringing you down, or that don't give you positive messages like, oh, dang, that sure looks good on you today, or whatever the case may be, surround yourself with those good people. Because those people are going to lift you up. Like, for instance, Smidt. Smidt will probably put a smile on your face when you are having the worst day in your life. Just being around Smidt, I couldn't even tell you how many days in boot camp where I was feeling down, I wanted to go home, and then all I see is Smidt practicing throwing a baseball just because he can, or hitting a golf ball, or throwing a football, just practice just because he could.
Being goofy, if you didn't know.
Like, seeing Smidt do that during boot camp, that shit brought my day up. And I will never forget any of those days where I was feeling down. And then I just look up and I just see Smidt throwing a football and taking a 2-step drop back and tossing that ball.
I love you, bro.
I love you too, Smidt.
On real though, man. Got a lot of love. Find love. Find love. And it's not, don't find love for someone you drop on a knee and get married. Find love in the greatest friendships that you have. Love everything that life has to offer.
Yes.
Love everything that life has to offer, because you will never get it back. Learn from it. Become better. Find wisdom. Become more experienced. Become stronger. Build up stronger mental game. Fucking out-achieve everybody else who's trying to be in the same position. Watch yourself succeed.
Yes.
It's like, dude, I wish, dude, people don't understand. Let me rephrase that. All of us do not understand, like, the kind of impact that you can have on yourself and the people around you. Like, it's the small little things that you do each and every day. Mm-hmm. Things you say and the way you act, the way you preserve yourself to other people. Watch it change your fucking life.
It will.
On the realest note.
It definitely will.
Keep going.
That shit will change your life. Because then you'll feel better about yourself as a person. You'll go home, going to bed, feeling different about yourself. And don't talk down on anybody, or you just randomly help an elderly couple with their groceries one day. If you see them at the supermarket, at a Safeway, or Publix down here, I guess is what it's called. I don't even know. But just go help other people out with things. Don't make everything about you for that day. Go out, do something for somebody else. Because then in the end, you're going to go home that day, and then you're going to look back at what you did that day. Oh, I helped this person out. I helped this person out. I gave this person some gas money to help them out. And it's just going to make you feel good about yourself. And surround yourself with people that are like that. Because the more you surround yourself with those kinds of people, the better off you all are going to be individually and as a whole group. Because then nobody's going to be down on themselves, because they're going to have 5 or 6 other people there to lift them back up instead of just one person. Because that one person might not be able to do something that another person might be able to. That's what I got to say on that.
The best thing that I love doing about these podcasts is getting the stories out of people that I don't... Me and Gonzalez are very close as individuals. He just told me things within the last hour that I would have never known. I've never known about him before. You know what I'm saying? I love doing these podcasts because people open up to their experiences, what they've gone through in life. And now we talk about how we're going to get you back on track. How has your mindset changed? What is it now? How are we going to battle it? What are we going to learn for the future? How do we value ourselves now? The biggest thing that I talked about in this last podcast, invest in yourself. Find the value of life. Find the value that you see when you look inside the mirror. If you do not like who you see, make change. It starts today. You want to change who you were in the past? Change yourself for the future.
Yes.
Starts today. What do you want to do with yourself? Do you have body goals? Are you putting in the workout? Do you have economic goals? Are you saving the money? You know, whatever kind of goals that you have, you need to start it. You need to put in work each and every day. Because just like Steve Harvey said, if you give up, the best option, the most guaranteed option is that it will never, ever happen. You will never see yourself become anything or anyone if you choose to give up instead of continuing to grind it out. I love doing these podcasts because I love listening to people and I love listening to their stories and I love learning about what I'm going to do tomorrow to ensure that I live a happy and healthy lifestyle, because I understand that you are 18 times more likely to die each day than be born in the first place.
It's a crazy ass fact. Just let that sink in for a little bit. Let that fact alone just sink in.
Quit letting other people's versions and opinions of you, your stats, your vision, your actions control your mind and yourself each and every day. If you find something that ensures happiness, fucking go with it, man.
Yes.
Fucking go with it, man. I don't know what else to say. I wish people just fucking took that shit and ran with it. Stuff that bitch in your back pocket and run with it.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, life's great. Life's great. Do we live with obstacles politically, financially?
Yes.
In our everyday life? Absolutely. Everybody does.
Everybody
Let me say
has
that
their
again.
own obstacles.
Everybody does.
My
How are you?
obstacles may not be the same as yours.
But we go through obstacles.
We all go through them.
And what are you going to do tomorrow to ensure that you continue to find happiness and fulfillment tomorrow?
I'm probably going to play golf.
Fucking love you, dude. Gonzalez, you got any last minute things you want to say?
And then just surround yourself with good people. Keep listening to these podcasts. These podcasts are amazing. I know I listen to them every weekend. So yeah, just keep striving for yourself. Surround yourself with good people. And don't let anybody be a Debbie Downer on you. Just brush that shit off and just keep going. Because you know who you are as a person, so don't let what other people think fuck with your head and ruin you. That's all I got.
We've been keeping it real here on Inner Peace Motivation Podcast. Thank you, Gonzalez. Seriously.
Thank you for having me.
Seriously, thank you for being on, sharing with what you had.
Thank you for letting it come out, because like I told you in the intermission, I don't talk about it a lot, so it's not something that I just openly talk about.
God, dude. Fucking love you.
I love you too.
Till next time, remember this has been released on Sunday the 7th. Next one will be released on the 14th. Hopefully, we'll be in Jacksonville. But if you do not follow me on all social platforms, you are wrong. LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I'm all on it. Snapchat. Add me on Snapchat. Let's get personal. What are you dealing with? Let's ask questions. Let me answer them for you. Let's hop on Instagram Live. Let's talk about your goals, your sets. Let's talk about how you're going to get better next week. And until next time, Smidt logging out.
We out.